Hello everyone and welcome to the Chicagoland Speedway for the running of the Chicagoland doubleheaders in the Crown Royal Truck Series, the final two races of the regular season before we crown our 10 that are going into the chase. Got a lot of drivers ready for this. This being the doubleheader, McDonald's picking up their sponsorship again. We got the McFlurry 300 today, and that will follow tomorrow with the second event. But it's the McFlurry 300 here today at Chicagoland, and let's go ahead down the running order as we go in here because we got a bunch of surprises up front, including Gatlin Downey sitting on pole for Rockstar Energy Racing. The team last year went to victory lane here in the second race after benefiting from the inverse that you see in the Crown Royal Truck Series at doubleheaders. And of course, if you've never seen those before here in the NSDCA, the doubleheader races in the Truck Series, the starting grid for race number 2 will be the inverse of the entire lead lap finish. So, that's saying if all 40 trucks stay on the lead laps somehow in this race, 40th will start first tomorrow. Or it could be just the top 5 that finish on the lead lap with some shenanigans at the end, and maybe it'd just be a 5th to first inverse. Whatever it is, it's a big time here, and that's how Rockstar Energy Racing captured their one and only Truck Series win last year with Priya McShane. Downey starts on pole today. Antoine Smith, Riley Spurleytube, give Nicky Morris a shout out in the 7. Colton Lane in the 27 won this race last season, the first of the doubleheader races at Chicagoland, to make his way into the chase. He sits right now 25th in points. It'd be a miracle for him to do so. Larry Hagan, another driver looking to win his way in. Eric Monaco, Alex Peters, both in the points solidly, but Monaco does not have a win. Alex Peters is on the cutoff in 8th. Eli Bright, Vince Freeze round out your top 10. Looking a bit further through, Zach Rogers, Jose Perez on Jack in a dangerous scenario has to beat Alex Peters, but there's Anderson Reed in the 63, a great qualifying performance for JSR, as well as Sauber Racing Team with Vargas leaving to TSR next season with the 08 car. Looking all the way through, there's Ryan Butcher, Diego Yepes back in the 89. Again there, Matthew Eves starting deep in the field. He rolls off 25th. You got Roger Ray in a brand new scheme 27th. The Gemini returns after running at DuQuoin a couple weeks ago. New sponsorship on Maxwell Phase number 22 puts him in here, and with Logan Cloud no longer running in the NSDCA, the 32 now goes to Evan Hunter for this race after he had a great run in the GDI 35 at Daytona. They picked him up for SimTech just for this weekend. Aiden Smith also starting near the back. Austin Delgado's in the 52, qualified that in. And Priya McShane, last season's second race winner at Chicagoland, she rolls off the back after failing post-qualifying inspection. We got a lot of things to talk about before this race goes green, but we have a long race ahead of us. Let's go ahead down trackside for the commands to fire the engines here at Chicagoland.
Drivers, start your engines!
With that, the engines are fired. We're rolling off for this first of 2 doubleheader races at Chicagoland, the McFlurry 300. 24 to 26 is the fuel window. We'll see if that happens with all the cautions that might happen. As well, you got a big points battle heading into this. Spurleytube's trying to hang on to the regular season title over Eves, has a big starting advantage over him, so he could lock it up before heading into tomorrow's race. Perez, Antoine Smith, Ryan Butcher also pretty much locked into the chase. 6th, 7th, and 8th, though. Monaco, Kobza, and Peters not locked in, though Alex Peters has a win to fall back on in the wildcard hunt. In that wildcard hunt, we have 4 drivers fighting for it right now, so pretty much it's either win a race or you got to point your way into that top 8 because Stephen Wallace Jr., Aiden Smith, Jesse Turner, Vince Freeze are fighting for those wildcard spots right now. However, Onjak, Johnson, Downey, Eli Bright, those 4 can point their way in with good runs this weekend. Larry Hagan as well as Alex Fletcher, Matt Sladek, Patrick Smith. That's all the drivers that are winless inside the top 20 from that 9th to 20th range. If they win the race, they probably will have to just to make the chase. So that's what you're looking at right now. Hagan rolling off 6th. You got Downey up in front. Those 2 are in must-win scenarios or should be wanting a win today. Coming down this front straightaway, though, 41 laps ahead of us at Chicagoland. Green flag is in the air, and we're racing at the McFlurry 300. Two wide, 2x2 down this back straightaway. You'll be seeing some 3-wide action in the corners, though, as Nicky Morris is going to be the first one shoved up, as Antoine Smith is trying to hang on the outside, and he will get some of that run coming off the corner. And down the front straightaway for the first time, we keep it clean and green for lap number 1. Top 4 single filed out before Hagan jumps to the inside. Looking further back at Peter Onjak, getting aggressive in that 97 truck. He needs to beat Alex Peters in these 2 races to point his way into the show, where he has to win in front of the home crowd like he did in the Cup Series last year. Antoine, though, is going to be the one jumping out to the lead over Gatlin Downey. The fight for 3rd heating up between Spurley Tube Hagan and Nicky Morris. Nicky up here in 5th, too far back in the points for a race win to matter in his wild card hunt, but still, you always want to come out and try to win a race. Peters clear into 6th. Battle for 7th between Monaco and Bright. There's a guy who needs points. He and Turner sit pretty far behind Aiden Smith and Stephen Wallace Jr. in that wild card hunt. Those two won the first 2 races of the season. Vince Freeze and Jesse Turner. Of course, they won California Daytona respectively. As they go on down, as Gatlin Downey's looking back for that race lead here in that 19, and already 3 laps in, we've seen a ton of action up in front. Looking at the back there, there's Aiden Smith. This gaggle of trucks, this is going to be the scary part, as Matthew Eves is on the inside of him in that 48, trying to gain as many spots as he can. Doesn't want to lose too much time to Spurley Tube. He wants to win this regular season title. That's a bonus 10 points over finishing 2nd in the regular season championship standings there, as Eves down to the inside. Sorry about that, as Stephen Wallace Jr. and Rogers make some contact. Zach Rogers has dropped like a rock in that 9 already. Started this race inside the top 20, I believe, or close to the top 10. He started 11th, and now he is outside 3 wide, going back to 24th. Daniel Cobb's also a guy who needs some points back there. Nicky Morris going after Hagan. That's for that 4th position. We'll see what Nicky can do. Nicky, not a very fan-favorite driver out here at Chicagoland. This is Onge Auto Country, and he's right now fighting Larry Hagan for that 4th position, though, for MJM. Could be a good day for Nicky, but he's had a couple good qualifying runs this season that haven't really panned out for him. 28th in points. He is the 2nd lowest of all drivers who have made every race this season in the standings. Only lower than him is Anderson Reed in the 63 truck, and both of them qualified pretty good today. Reed qualified, I believe, 14th. He's right now fighting just inside the top 20 with Vargas, Max Anderson, Matthew Eves, and the CFRO guys. Speaking of CFRO, they will not be returning next year. Peter Onjak leading this the charge right now. Patrick Smith, SWJ, a bit further behind, but CFRO will not be returning next year. The team is looking to split off between Henson Racing as well as Onge Auto for some of their equipment, some of their drivers to go to. We'll see how that all plays out in this offseason. Eli Bright, of course, he is retiring at the end of the year, and this is really the only chance he has at winning a title. It's not going to be in the Cup Series. He's way too far back for anything to work in the Cup Series. But in the trucks, it's doing good, as Nicky's going to bounce off the wall there. Eli sits 13th in points, though he entered this race about 62 points behind. Caution is out. Big crash down in turn number 4. 3 trucks involved. But as we were saying, Eli entered this race about 63 points back. A good finish today could get him time, but considering Alex Peters is sitting right in front of him, it's probably not going to happen, as Antoine will be able to race that 00 back to the yellow flag here on lap number 8. Evan Hunter, Simtech Racing's truck destroyed. So is Preston Emmons. So is Zachary Fitzwater in that 59. If you notice, he does have the Foster's branding on that 59 this weekend. So 9 of 41 coming around to take the yellow flag. They're going to line up for pit road here. And if they go to pit road, they'll be sitting at maybe 6 laps less on fuel than they should. However, of course, you can always run it, save some fuel, make it last to the end. No matter what. We'll see if anyone does come in, though. And usually the rule of thumb we've seen in the NSDCA, you got a handful of tire sets down there, and these races aren't as long as they usually are, or as they could be, really. So you have a lot of tire sets down there. You may as well take them, especially when a majority of the field's coming on in. You could go for the pit strategy, but either way, looks like Evan Hunter's not happy with Anderson Reed back there as they're coming onto pit road. But you know, you don't want to screw up. You don't want to get messed up coming onto pit road and, you know, stay out front with no tires. So everyone's probably going to come down. 2 or 4 tires will be the calls as they come down on pit road here, and we'll see what it is for the majority of the field. It looks like Eves and Patrick Smith might have gone for 2. I think so with how they're coming out. Nicky Morris goes for 2 in the 7. He's going to be out, and Antoine Smith, a slow pit stop on the 00 as well for Hagan and Lane. I don't know if those guys can get out of their boxes, and that is going to cost Antoine Smith a ton of time there, as well as Larry Hagan and Colton Lane. They're going to drop very far back. Zach Rogers as well, so we'll get a pit update before we go, or after we go and get this replay, but it will be Nicky Morris leading the charge here at Chicagoland. First incident of the day, Evan Hunter in that 32 truck dives it 3 wide, just goes right up into Fitzwater, pinches them all. It's going to be a hard hit for all 3 trucks, though only the 32, I believe, is going to be out of this one. You see smoke pouring from that 32 truck. On board with Fitzwater out the front bumper as he gets pinched 3 wide. A back marker brawl in the back brings us to the first caution of the day here at the McFlurry 300. Back live here at the McFlurry 300 at Chicagoland. 1 truck out of the race. That is Evan Hunter, who's taking that 32 truck behind the wall. Everyone got their pit stop. 2 or 4 fresh tires for everyone. As it stands, Nicky Morris, Patrick Smith, Eric Monaco, Matthew Eves, Alex Peters, Ryan Butcher, Peter Onjek, as well as many others, including Patrick Smith, Matthew Brown, Max Anderson, Logan Bradley, Daniel Cobbs, Pre McShane, Aiden Smith. That is your 2-tire drivers. Now, you pit around lap 10, lap 11. That puts about 30 to go. Fuel window could be 26 laps, maybe more. I don't know if I would have taken 2 tires there because, you know, you don't want to run 41 laps on old left sides. If you're going to have to come back down pit road and fuel up, you know, you don't want to spend time changing those tires. So we'll see what it is here at the end, how it runs on this restart, because we are back racing. Green flag's back in the air. If you're looking at it, 4 of the top 5 have no wins this year. 2 of them trying to win their race to solidify their spot in the chase. Eric Monaco would like it just as an extra topper, but also for a good race, as Downey's going to be the one shoved up. He is on 4 tires in that 19. So is the 28 of Spurley Tube, as it's going to be the 28 of Spurley Tube taking that top spot away, sliding up and clearing, as now Peters and Eves are chasing him down there. Now both of those guys on 2 tires, as well as Patrick Smith, who have all lined up on that inside. We'll see what they can do as this race progresses, but Spurley Tube in the 28 is going to be the one charging to the top. Now they're going to have to look 184 on the 59, 180 on the 71. As Spurley Tube cost him a ton of time there. And Alex Peters hitting 195 there. We'll see what Emmons can hit. Preston Emmons not meeting minimum speed. Zachary Fitzwater barely meeting minimum speed as we got a spin at the front. That's Nicky Morris. Riley Spurley Tube's in it in the 35. Anderson Reed right into Jose Perez as the 35 goes flying. Zachary Fitzwater into him as well. And we're under caution for the second time today here at Chicagoland with a vicious hit to Jose Perez. See if anyone does come down pit road. Does not look like anyone's coming on down, so looks like they think they can make it. Spurley Tube's got to come down. He has damage to that 28, so that's going to blow the regular season hopes wide open now for Riley Spurley Tube. Yepes is involved. Delgado, Sebastian Kukulon, Emmons was in it. Perez, Anderson, Reed. Hard hits for them. We're going to go take a quick replay, see what happened to bring out the second caution. The big one strikes early. Nicky Morris, Riley Spurley Tube fighting for the same real estate. Spurley Tube runs out of room, gets into Nicky. Now Nicky goes spinning. You see them spinning off of the corner. Nicky is all right in this, but Jose Perez is the one that goes for the wild ride. Hits Spurley Tube, slides into the wall, slides back down into traffic. Nowhere for Anderson Reed to go as it launches the 35 into the air, just like Eli Bright last season. But here is the scarier part, being thrown back into traffic with the 59-71. Thankfully, most of those hits were passenger or rear than a driver's side impact for Jose Perez, but he is still shaken up and has been taken out of the track to a local hospital for further evaluation, though he is awake and alert. So is Anderson Reed. A vicious hit for both of them. You see how high that 35 got, and then gets hit again by the 71 and 59. That was just not a good ride for him. on board with Anderson Reed. You'll see how he really can't get out of this. He hits the wall there. They're spinning, and Perez just comes down in track. Nowhere to go, top or bottom. We're under caution for the second time today here at Chicagoland. Back live here at Chicagoland after a very, very frightening accident on the front straightaway. Jose Perez, Anderson Reed, both were taken out of their cars into a local area hospital. Both were conscious after the event, after the crash. We are thankful for that. But there's no word on the conditions of both of those drivers as it stands right now. 18 of 41 complete. Alex Peters, Eric Monaco, Matthew Eves, Patrick Smith, Eli Bright are your top 5. Gatlin Downey, Ryan Butcher, Vince Freeze, Antoine Smith, Austin Johnson. Rounding out your top 10. We still have drivers on 2 and 4 tires. This is big right here, the 45 and 4. That's 2 drivers that are inside that 6th, 7th, and 8th bracket in the point standings. Those are the guys that they could be fighting for the cutoff points there, which is big. Multiple cars out. Spurley Tube is still out here in that 28 truck. The 71 and 59, we didn't have to really give them min speed requirements because they crashed out. That puts the 63-35 out of the race. The 59 and 71 are also joining them out of the race. Puts 35 cars left. Spurley Tube at the back. Alex Peters at the front, though. Coming down the front straightaway, 18 of 41. Green flags back in the air at Chicagoland. Going down the back straightaway, a bit of a gap from that top 3, but Eves is going to be the one jumping to the inside in that 48 truck. As you see the whole field back there, we're going to have to monitor Spurley Tube's car there and make sure he is meeting minimum speed. If I can get my words out there. A couple cars, man, that was sideways coming off the corner for the 94 and 8. They're going to settle it down back there. Top 4 now out to a breakaway there. Gatlin Downey, the first one of this top 4 on 4 tires. We'll see if those 4 tires will work as this race goes on. Could be big for him. There's Ryan Butcher in the 17. Now Smith, and look at Peter Onjak in the 97, shoving the 00 down this back straightaway as they're going at it. And so we got multiple CFRO trucks up front here. There's Vince Freeze, Austin Johnson as they come on through. Christian Vargas as Colton Lane actually gets up there and smacks him there. 4 wide at the back. Adam Mitchell backs out of it. Jesse Turner, Aiden Smith getting aggressive moving through the field with Priya McShane. And now we're looking at the back. There is 189 for Yepes. 173 for Spurley Tube. If that's all that's going, and it doesn't look like it's going any further, they are going to park the 28 of Riley Spurley Tube there so that Sauber Racing Team, your regular season points leader right now, was trying to get any points he can, and right now that is going to cost him with some heavy damage to that 28 truck. That's going to cost Spurley Tube a lot today as we go back up front to the battle for the lead. It's Alex Peters, Eric Monaco, Matthew Eves, your top 4. Butcher's moved to 4th. Now Downey's dropping back is Patrick Smith, 20th in points. He'd have to fight with Turner and Freeze to get in that wild card spot, but he still could as we got a battle for 2nd heating up. Matthew Eves blows right past Eric Monaco, and Eves looking for his 3rd win of the season if he could still be the only repeat winner of the year. Eli Bright bounces off the wall. Aiden Smith bounces off the wall. There's Hagan in the 25 back there trying to get up there. There's Vargas as well. Vargas 22nd in points entering this race. He would have to win and then some to get in as Bright and Patrick Smith make some contact. That's going to lose the 94 and 8 a bit of time there down this back straightaway. A big pack there, a smaller pack there. But it looks like everyone else. Yepes is hitting about 185. These guys were normally hit, well, now Maxwell Fi's the interesting thing. So we'll take a look at the speed of Alex Peters as he comes down this front straightaway. It's going to be 197, so you're going to have to see at least 182 for Maxwell Fi. And that's what he gets. He's 14 up, so that is good. They all pass minimum speed with everyone else faster ahead of them. We're good on the minimum speed. We wanted to make sure about that after that debacle at Daytona with the officials almost not calling Ricky Freeman Jr. down pit road, and that would have caused a ton of chaos and probably a ton of controversy for that pack at Daytona. So we are clear. All drivers now have met the minimum speed requirement except for Spurleytube, who was parked. Battle for that second position heating up as Butcher has joined himself up here. Now Antoine Smith there as well. Austin Johnson, he sits 10th in points. He's looking to point his way in. He and Onjak are the big two fighting for those points, and Onjak's not having a good time right now. He's 17th, struggling at the back. Ooh, some contact there between Cobbs and Lane. A lot of physical racing happening here at Chicagoland. A lot of cars going up the track. And turn 4, very cautious. You got to be very cautious getting through there because you could end up in the outside wall. As now Alex Peters has Matthew Eves all over the back of him. And now, as you see, if you're looking at the top 5, the only way to increase that streak would to be have Eric Monaco win this race. That'd make 11 of 12 race winners be different. But now Austin Johnson jumps to the inside. Antoine Smith is going to, oh, so close, clear him. But Austin Johnson's on 4 fresh good years as well as Antoine. So these two right here could be the bigger threats getting up to the front as this race wears on. I'm pretty sure Ryan Butcher took 2 tires only on pit road. I'm not entirely sure about that. But now Matthew Eves, a large charge down the back straightaway, and he's going to take that lead away from Alex Peters. Give it back to the TSR 48, who hasn't seen victory lane in just a couple races, but he's looking for the regular season title here for that TSR 48 team. Down the front straightaway he goes into turn number 1 once again. We'll see how it goes with just 28 of 41 in the books. Still about 13, 14 laps to go, and we're looking back here just at some of the guys in the back. Alex Fletcher doesn't need a bad day here. McShane probably out of the championship hunt now, same with Bradley. Aiden Smith is trying desperately to get points. Daniel Cobbs better hope he increases some points, because now Peter Onjak and Austin Johnson are pretty far ahead of him in those trucks. Back up front, we got 4 cars under a blanket as Eves is attacked once again by Alex Peters, Ryan Butcher, Eric Monaco there. Peters wants a second win because that would lock him into the chase no matter what, and he is right on that bubble where some guys could get big points tomorrow if so. But Alex Peters wants to win this race. Matthew Eves wants to win it to take so many points into the chase and try to win this title. But Austin Johnson's back there in the 77. He might be a must-win scenario if he doesn't get going up here, because he's going to need a good day today and a good day tomorrow to get himself up into that fight. Antoine Smith in the 00 back there. Gatlin Downey might need to win this race. He's a bit too far behind right now. Freeze having a great day, but so is SWJ. That's not what Freeze wants to see, but he's fine with Smith running at the back, as that could be the fight for the wild card hunt. The rest of the field right there. There's Onjak 15th. Not a great day for the 97 truck, but out in front, it's Alex Peters in the 45. He's got just 11 to go here at Chicagoland until he can get his race victory. Peters going to SBR next season, leaving Ford high and dry. Even with Evernham going over to Ford, it's very concerning for their truck operations next year, as they don't have many good teams. You got Ford Performance Racing, Simtech Racing Incorporated, both of which have been running near the back all season long. Alex Peters has been the star driver for Ford, and he's now 10 laps away from possibly getting his second win of the season in that 45 truck, carrying momentum into the chase. Matthew Eves up here in second is doing great, but you gotta remember they pit around lap 11, meaning the fuel is not going to last if they aren't saving. However, the drivers that pit under that last caution include Sebastian Kukulon, Austin Delgado, and Diego Yepes. All of them but Kukulon are very far off the pace damage, but if they have enough fuel to make it to the end, if these guys start running out up front, we could see a Gemini Racing victory here at Chicagoland. But still, you never know the fuel windows. I've said for years they could be running out of fuel and they don't. But one guy that's not worried about fuel, Austin Johnson, Antoine Smith, have passed the 4 and the 17. And those 4 tires are coming after the 48 and 45. Do they have enough time for it to matter? But the 77 and 00 are gaining pretty quickly on the top 2. Vince Freeze, some contact back there with Monaco. He's trying to get as much as he can. Freeze is on those 4 tires. So is Stephen Wallace Jr., Gatlin Downey. Eli Bright as well as Butcher's dropping. Hagen is trying to gain some spots. There's Onjak. He's picking up spots too, and Cobbs is a bit further back. Turner, it's probably going to be too late for Turner to do anything unless he wins tomorrow. That'd be the only way he could get the wild card spot. But Alex Peters out in front. Right now, it's 1.1 seconds between them. They were about 1.6 back a couple laps ago as Antoine's going after Austin Johnson. Antoine wants a second victory this year, and I think they could because they have caught Matthew Eves by a very fast margin, and now they'll have to get around Eves and go after Alex Peters if they want to win this race, as Antoine's going to clear Johnson for third. And they've really slowed up coming off the corner. Really hesitated between those two. Look at the gap the 48 and 45 took on them. As they were side by side, they hit a wall of air pretty much. And that might have cost Antoine Smith his chance at a race victory, fighting Austin Johnson so hard. But there's still some time left, and those two tires, those left sides, got to be cooking. Freeze has got up to the top 5. Monaco fighting off Stephen Wallace Jr., but Monaco doesn't have much to hold on to with those two tires on the side. Eli Bright, Larry Hagan now joining up here. Peter Onjak starting to fly up here at the end, but Eves is now starting to catch Alex Peters. Looks like a rejuvenated 48 truck there, but Antoine just caught him by another about 4/10 there in that 00. This could be the threat here, and there is the 22. We said Faye was meeting minimum speed. He's meeting it by just barely, but now Antoine Smith is going to go to the outside of Eves, take that second spot away. Not what Eves wants to see. If he loses more time, that's going to be a ton of time as he throws the block on Austin Johnson. That was almost dangerous there. 4 laps to go. Antoine Smith has one truck between him and the race win. It's a 2-tire versus 4-tire call on that opening pit stop. That could be the factor, but will anyone be running out of fuel? It looks like everyone's still on the track. There is the 22 of Faye right there in that truck is Alex Peters. Coming through turn number 4, 3 to go this time. The 22's down pit road. Great job by Faye. Great awareness by him. But is he running out of fuel? Is anyone else running out of fuel now? But the 22 is down pit road. Coming around. 2 laps to go this time by. Alex Peters running any line he can, trying to break Antoine Smith. But that 45 walked it up the track a ton. Here comes the SBR 00. Austin Johnson's not going to win this race, but he is going to have a good points day now. However, Alex Peters out in front is even bigger in that because he is the cutoff. Daniel Kobza, though, could be dropping himself out of the top 8 in the standings. 2 laps to go. Will Alex Peters get his second win, or will Antoine Smith get his second win on the year? Eves in the 48. He is gained, and Antoine's truck does not look to have much corner speed. It looks like it was all the tires, but he might have pushed them way too hard because Eves is catching right back up to him. Coming around to the white flag. Does Antoine have anything for the 45 of Alex Peters coming to the white flag? It's in the air. No yellow in sight. We will end right here. Down the front straightaway into turn 1. Alex Peters looking to lock himself into the chase right here if he can win this race. Ford has been struggling all season long, but Alex Peters has been the shining star in the Ford camp. That's why SBR knocked on the door to give him a chance at Cup. And now he's going to stay on that 2-tire call, hang on over Toyota's top driver. Alex Peters wins at Chicagoland over Antoine Smith, Matthew Eves, Austin Johnson, and Vince Freeze. Fuel lasted for, it looks like, mostly everyone, except Roger Ray, Diego Yepes, Maxwell Faye. Either way, great awareness by Faye to come down right then and there and not be in front of the race leaders. Austin Johnson, Matthew Eves. I don't think Johnson's too happy with Eves holding him up there in those late stages. They made some contact getting onto pit road. Shout out to Larry Hagan coming home 6th. And look at the CFRO guys, 7th and 9th. A great recovery for both of them who really need much needed points in this fight. It looks like a handful of drivers are definitely going to be eliminated from championship contention, and a handful of drivers are definitely going to be looking for a big day tomorrow in the second of the Chicagoland races. This was a fun race, but we hope for Perez and Anderson Reed's conditions to be updated. They do race tomorrow, and Reed races on Sunday, so that could be an interesting factor if they need relief drivers for tomorrow's event. Speaking of tomorrow's event, as you know, it is an inverse starting order. That means Alex Peters will finish right before the last guy on the lead lap, which is the 52 of Austin Delgado, meaning Ronnie Hank Racing gets a pole in the Truck Series. Now, it doesn't count towards the stats, I do not believe, or it doesn't count for the clash, but there is no Truck Series clash. But he will start 31st. Heartbreaking for Ray, Yepes, and Faye at the end. They could have swapped to Yepes on pole in the 89, but of course you'd need a good-looking truck for that as well. So it'll be Delgado, Nicky Morris, Kukulon, Brown, and Irving Allison, your top 5 for tomorrow's event. Alex Peters wins here at Chicagoland. The points will be up shortly to see what this race will be. I believe Matthew Eves, though, should be your regular season points leader now with Spurleytube chasing him. We'll see who's fighting for the championship here at Chicagoland tomorrow. Catch you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.